What's going on, everybody? It is the Franchise here with another installment of Wrestle Talk with the Franchise. I just want to give everybody an explanation to last week. As you know, there was no installment of this show, and that's because, to be all honest with you guys, I was not 100% happy with that show. Normally I will do a show. Sometimes I don't have my notes because it's just like, the world, my week was just jam-packed with a lot of stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to go off with just what I know. And last Sunday, it was a lot of stuff happening that week leading up to that Sunday. With my job and with other things happening around my life. So I literally came in and just was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. But I didn't like how it came out. I did not like how I sounded as far as just the content that I was giving you guys. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to give you guys a nice show, like a show that is just overall good quality in presentation and sound and you name it. I want to give you that. And I didn't like how it came out. I didn't. So I did not do that. But this week I do have notes. I do have a lot to talk about because there is a lot to discuss this week in the world of wrestling. Saturday afternoon, we had King and Queen of the Ring. We crowned two new people as the King and Queen. And we had 3 title defenses. And we have a lot to talk about leading after post King and Queen and what is going to happen, what I see happening with those shows. And we have AEW's big event, Double or Nothing, taking place tonight. Took place yesterday. This will be dropping on Monday. So by the time this comes out, Double or Nothing would have concluded. And I'm just going to run through certain matches. It's 12 matches. I'm not going to go through every last one of these matches. Just the ones that stand out to me, which is probably going to be maybe 3. I'm looking at it right now. 3 of those matches probably stand out to me. I'm not going to go blow by blow with my thoughts of the show because I haven't never done it with the AEW show. I know the Ace has done it. I know me and the Ace collectively at some point have discussed their pay-per-views, but it's very rare that you see me actually give a preview show or a prediction show for an AEW event. But because I'm recording this on Sunday, and this is a Sunday of a pay-per-view for AEW, I will discuss certain things. And that's what I'm about to do right now. So I'm going to start with this right now because I want to end on talking about WWE. So Double or Nothing tonight. One thing that stood out to me about this show is normally, if I'm correct, and please let me know in the comments, don't they have like their Money in the Bank match during Double or Nothing? Like, am I bugging or is that another pay-per-view? Either way it goes, that's not happening. I think it's the Russian roulette or the roulette wheel, whatever it is. I forgot the name of it, but doesn't that normally happen at Double or Nothing? Or is that all out, all in? I don't fucking know, whatever. Anyway, 3 matches stand out to me. And that is Adam Cole defending the TNT title against Malachi Black. I have Adam Copeland. I said Adam Cole. I think I said Adam Cole. If I did, I'm sorry. Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. I have Adam Copeland retaining. I think that Malachi and Buddy Matthews is just on borrowed time. I think that they will be making their way back to the WWE. I can see it happening by the end of the year, if not next year, especially Buddy. I think Buddy more than Malachi because obviously because even though Malachi is married to Zelina Vega, I think I can see Buddy coming back sooner just because of Rhea. But I do see that it's going to be Adam Copeland retaining this title. I do want to talk about the Brood bloodbath that they did a couple weeks ago, or was it this past Wednesday? It apparently, from my understanding, a lot of the AEW stands were going at Bischoff, going at Kevin Nash, going at Vince Russo for their new bloodbath that they did with Kevin Nash. And then AEW turns around and does the exact same thing. Like, that doesn't really make sense. I thought it looked weird when that happened. For some reason, I just thought that blood was, I don't know. I didn't like how I didn't like it. I can understand the angle that they're going at. Obviously, the House of Black is a very dark faction that prides himself on that gothic fear type of approach. And obviously, you have Adam Copeland, who got his start in the WWE with the Brood and has kind of continued to carry that on in certain aspects. We've seen it when he fought Seth Rollins. We've seen it when he fought Finn Balor. So it's kind of like his thing when he has to dig into that dark side of him. He brings that out. I do believe this might be in a cage match. I believe this is a cage match. But I got Copeland coming out victorious. Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. This is the first in-ring match for Mercedes Moné in AEW. Now, recently, this week, Mercedes Moné has stated that she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Y'all know when it comes to the horsewomen, the 4 horsewomen, I've always said that, in my opinion, Sasha Banks was number 1, and then Bayley was 2, Charlotte was 3, Becky was 4. In my personal rankings. Now, if we took my biased opinion away and we took it based on success, accolades, things like that, Charlotte will obviously be the greatest out of that horsewoman's group. Then Becky will probably be second. Bayley will be third. Sasha will be fourth. If we're going off of accolades, I believe. Because I believe there's one thing that Sasha may have not eclipsed. I could be wrong, but if we're going off of accolades and reigns, Charlotte will be arguably the greatest. I feel like this could hinder Mercedes' legacy overall. I know she's taking her chance. She decided she wanted to go this way, wanted to come here and do this. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. I know these two have had history. Obviously, she was taken out and sidelined due to a match with Willow Nightingale. So it's going to be, there is some personal animosity between the two of these, between these two. They have history, as I stated. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Tony Khan making Mercedes win this title, which is not going to be good for Willow. And I think that what's going to happen is we're going to get Mercedes to start talking. As you know, she's already planting the seeds. I'm the greatest of all time. She's going to drag the AEW fan base or drag the women's division. And this is going to bring back the Doctor. This is bringing back Brent Baker. And I feel like we're going to get Brent Baker versus Mercedes Moné at all, the one in Wembley. And I think this is the build-up. This is the build-up for Brent to come back, and we will see DMD versus CEO. That's how they're going to pitch it. That's how they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it as Brent Baker is one of the pillars of AEW. She is the face of the women's division, and this is what they're going to do. Now, I feel, though, as if you don't need, I feel like they're going to try to put the TBS title as being the title, even though you have Timeless Toni Storm as your AEW Women's Champion, but they're going to put more emphasis behind this, behind Mercedes versus Brent. So that's what I see happening. And I take that back. It is 4 matches because I completely forgot about the Anarchy in the arena match, the Elite versus Team AEW. Do not be surprised if Tony Khan gets involved. Do not. By any stretch, do not be surprised. And if Tony Khan gets involved, I'm going to drag Tony Khan. Because Tony Khan has been on record saying that he never wanted to be a character in this show. He never wanted to be that way. And now he's going to. On top of that, I'm going to address the stupidity that happened at the end of Dynamite with Darby Allin. The man came out with a fucking flamethrower. Why? Like, when people, when you have to understand why I dislike this company so much. Like, I try every week, I try to give them some benefit of the doubt. But when you have a man coming out with a fucking flamethrower, what the hell are we doing? Seriously. What the hell are we doing? Like, what were you going to do? What was Darby going to do with this flamethrower? What? Someone explain to me what the premise of Darby Allin with the flamethrower is. Tony Khan pulls up. Tony Khan gives him a little fist bump because he had Darby in the car. So he comes out with the flamethrower, and there's like, I have the Elite winning. I do. I do. I won't be surprised if Tony Khan sides with the Elite. One big cluster. If he does that, I think they're trying to recreate NWO in some form. It's not, though, because there's no outsiders, but I won't be surprised if that happens. And then we have the AEW World title. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. I'm begging and I'm praying to all of the gods, all of the wrestling gods. Swerve retains this title. I hope Swerve retains. If Swerve loses this title, I'm going to not say anything. I'm just going to get a collect amount of audio and just play that, because I'm sure I'm sure fans, podcasters, one person in particular is going to have a field day if Swerve Strickland loses the AEW title. I promise you. And it's just like I said before. I think Swerve is going to be a transitional champion. I want to be wrong. I honestly want to be wrong. I want to be able, because I'm not going to watch this event, I want to be able to wake up tomorrow morning, look at my phone, or at some point look at my phone and see that Swerve Strickland is still AEW champion. I don't want to see a new AEW champion Christian Cage. I don't care if it was by hook or crook. I don't care if he was cheated or whatever. I don't want to see that happen, because I do not want to see Swerve as a transitional champion. I just don't want to see that. He worked too hard, built this character, got over with the crowd for him to lose. Not even hold the title for a full month, I think. Or maybe he had been a champ for a month. Sure as hell don't feel like it. But we will see. We will see how this plays out with Double or Nothing. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about King and Queen of the Ring. That happened Saturday from Jeddah or Riyadh. It was in Saudi Arabia. This was a solid show. It was. 1 through a scale 1 through 5, I give it a strong 3.5. Strong 3.5. As you know, how I like to do these recap shows is I have match of the night, OMG moment, feel good, and best performer. So, match of the night. You had some good matches. I mean, you had the Intercontinental Triple Threat match, which was a solid banger. You had the Queen of the Ring, which was a good match. It did tell a great story. You had King of the Ring, which ended in some controversy, but it was a good outing. You had the women's world title match, which I knew, I had an idea this was going to happen. I had an idea that Liv, as you know, I did say Liv was going to win. Becky was the transitional champion, and I think that it's going to build into something larger, and I'm going to get into that later. And then you had the kickoff, which was the women's tag team titles on the line with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair going against Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. There was no chance in hell that Candice LeRae and Indy was going to win. But I'm going to go with my match of the night being the undisputed championship match between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. I know we have talked about this. I've discussed it at great length. I'm giving Cody Rhodes until Money in the Bank to give my perspective, to give my thoughts on his title reign so far. I will say the 2 Premium Live title defenses that he's had have been great matches. And this goes to show you, in all seriousness, love him or hate him, Logan Paul is a WWE superstar. He is. There's no doubt in my mind. He belongs here. He does. He does. He's the ultimate heel. He's playing into this character, this role. I think it is really him. But I'm very surprised LA Knight didn't get involved. Now, I say that because LA Knight was ringside. He was behind the announcers. He was behind Cole and Corey Graves. And when Logan Paul and Corey got into it, which was interesting because I don't know who I heard on TikTok talk about this, and they talked about how looking at Michael Cole and Corey Graves going at it, or not Corey Graves, looking at Michael Cole and, it was Sam Roberts. He was like, looking at Cole and Logan Paul arguing was like, Cole is the GOAT, this, that, and the third. But it made me think, we've seen this before. We've seen announcers or commentators get really invested in a match or in a character. In my opinion, Michael Cole is what JR was to Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is that announcer, he's that commentator that stood behind Cody and has been riding with Cody for since he's come back and continues. Now, what caught me, and I know this is not going to happen, but what caught me was when Logan was about to press, and this is when I thought LA Knight was going to interfere, but it wasn't LA Knight, it was Corey Graves. When Corey his headset came off and he's like, chill, to Logan. And then if you noticed, in the beginning of the match, Logan or Corey was very on Team Logan. He was, oh no, he had his brother Jake's pants on. You can't get mad. I've wore other people's pants, this and third. But after the Michael Cole, Logan Paul interaction, Corey Graves' tone changed. And he was more like, no, I'm not rocking with this. I'm not rocking with what he did. So it was very interesting to see that approach. Now, I know Corey Graves has been out. Because of his injury, he had to retire. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with that. But I really think Logan Paul, LA Knight, they teased it a couple weeks ago with them two confronting each other, having a face-off. You can always do the call back to, was it about to be 2 years now? Or, yeah, it's from that Money in the Bank. But SummerSlam, I really think SummerSlam we're getting LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the United States title. I could say Clash, but I don't think so. I think we get LA. I think because it's SummerSlam. OMG moment of the night goes to Logan Paul. But the reason I'm going with the Logan Paul splash through the table was the angle that they did this from. They had the rotating camera spinning around as Logan was climbing up, had his prime drink, took a swig, did the Triple H spit, and went through the table. The shot was what made that the OMG moment. It was that shot right there, because what I love, Triple H is taking risk with these angles, with the way he's shooting these shows. He's taking risks. He's going on a ledge saying, let's do it this way. You know, I know that's been something that Kevin Dunn was kind of, nah, we want to stay to this. And Triple H is like, nah, let's change it up. Let's do certain things that's different. Let's have the continuing shot from them leaving the locker to making the entrance out to the fans. Let's have that continuing shot. It's, as a person who has studied media, I love it. It's like you're seeing that they are looking at, okay, how can we stand out? How can we be different from the rest? Because no one else is doing it like this. No one else is shooting entrances and taking these angles like we are. Let's continue to do that. So that was my OMG moment. Feel good moment. Nia Jax winning Queen of the Ring. And the reason why I have her as the feel-good moment is because if you know where Nia has come from as far as the fans' perspective of her, I mean, I was one that was not really big on her. I thought she was very green. I thought that, you know, she was very, she was kind of dangerous in the ring. And to see her get into the shape that she's in, like she's in great shape, to see that she is taking this role and just all this to another level, like I would not be surprised if Nia Jax defeats Bayley at SummerSlam for the women's title. Like that's how big I am on Nia Jax now. Like she's killing this character. She's killing this role. It fits. You know, I would love to see that. Now, what I would also love to see is her be inserted into this new bloodline. That's what I would love to see. And they flip it in a way and I'm not going to go there right now. I'm not. I'm just... That's my feel-good moment, was Nia Jax winning, well-deserved as Queen of the Ring. And my best performer, Logan Paul. Logan Paul. He, hands down, killed this performance. Every time he's in the ring, he always ends up being a candidate for me for Performer of the Night. But that's kind of it. So with that being said, what's next for the WWE with King and Queen of the Ring now in our past? We now move forward. We are in SummerSlam season. We have Clash at the Castle and Money in the Bank coming up. It was announced at King and Queen of the Ring Triple H made the announcement that at Clash at the Castle in Scotland, we will see Damian Priest defending the world's heavyweight title against Drew McIntyre. If you think that Drew McIntyre is going to emerge from his homeland as the world heavyweight champion, you are sadly mistaken, because that is not going to happen. What we are going to see is a voice of the voiceless screw him out of the world title. That's what's going to happen. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre will face off at SummerSlam. It will not be for the world title. The reason why it's not going to be for the world title clearly is because the winner of the King of the Ring is facing the world champion. You do not want to sell the world heavyweight title, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. It's not going to sell. What's going to sell is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, because it's personal. Drew McIntyre will say, you have screwed me out of the title on 2 occasions. I cannot take this anymore. I need CM Punk. And you're going to get that. And then you're going to get Gunther versus Damian Priest. A babyface Damian Priest. Because I'm waiting, and I think because Dom was injured, or is injured, I think that derailed the breakup of the Judgment Day. Here's why I say that. I think Dom and JD McDonough was supposed to win that battle royal for the number 1 contenders for the world tag team titles. But because Dom got injured, you have Finn and JD. So now Finn and JD is going to take on the world tag team champions, Awesome Truth. I don't see them winning the tag team titles, and I see it becoming more of an issue, and then Priest is going, or the Judgment Day will turn on Priest. I can see that happening. Now, because I brought up Dom, as you know from King and Queen of the Ring, Liv Morgan is our new women's world champion. She has successfully completed her revenge tour. Now, there's a lot that goes into this. I think tonight on Raw, where Liv is going to face Becky, because Becky has invoked her rematch clause, which I was surprised that they have those again. But I can see a situation where Dom makes it clear that he's with Liv, which is going to be very telling because, as you know, WWE, Triple H, and them like to plant these little Easter eggs. And we've seen a couple weeks back Dom and Liv coming out of the locker room, not together, but it was kind of like, okay, you go and then I'll wait and then I'll come out. And then I believe maybe 2 weeks ago, Liv got out of the vehicle that Finn Balor was in. So we could see that Liv is planting some seeds. And basically what it looks like is Liv is taking everything away from Rhea. Rhea Ripley is returning sooner than expected. I think, in all seriousness, I think that this was a ploy to get her off TV for some time. And she will return to reclaim everything that Liv took from her. Liv is going to eventually become this full-blown heel. And then now you have Rhea coming back as a face. I will consider her more of a tweener, but she'll come back as this face to regain everything. This is the perfect way to bring her back as this face. Because think about it. She took Dom. She took her title. She took she ruined Judgment Day. This is what's going to happen. Now, does this mean that when she comes back, she's going to try to reform Judgment Day and make Judgment Day this babyface faction? I doubt it. I think that we are going to see, Judgment Day implode, but I don't see her trying to reform Judgment Day. But I do see Rhea Ripley coming back to regain her title and get Dom back. What's next for the world champion? What is next for Cody Rhodes? Now, when Triple H made the announcement that the winner of the King and Queen of the Ring will get a guaranteed title shot at WrestleMania, one, I remember, if I'm correct, speaking about this some time ago, that's kind of, they started to do that a while back. The minute they made that announcement, I knew that Randy Orton was not winning this. There's no way. I wanted it, and as you guys know, I did say I wanted Tama Tonga versus Jey Uso at King and Queen of the Ring. Now, I think it would have been interesting because then you could tell more of this bloodline storyline. And then if Tama Tonga won, you could then bring Cody back into this storyline with the bloodline. You could kind of tell Paul will be kind of telling Cody, like, Cody, Roman Reigns is one thing. This is a whole different, I have no control over them. Like, I have no control over this bloodline. But we didn't get that. So Randy Orton versus Gunther. Randy Orton did not win. How do you tell Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes? Well, you can traditionally do it as I'm going to say, which is Randy Orton goes back to being a heel. And Randy Orton says, basically, I've been catering to you, to the fans for far too long. I forgot who I was because I was so much catering to you. He turns on Cody and you build that story. I've always said that Cody needs that one person that can really cement his title reign. And that's going to be Randy Orton. I don't see a scenario where you have anyone else other than Randy Orton. There's depth behind that story. There's history there. There's the legacy story. There's all this stuff with them too. And you can really cement that legacy. You can really cement Cody Rhodes' legacy as undisputed champion through having him go through Randy Orton. So that's what I see happening. And you have time to build it. I can see Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for some time because I can see they have to tell Randy Orton going over as a heel. And yes, you could do it with Cody. You will do it with Cody, but he needs to have somebody to go through. And I think him and Kevin Owens will be a good match to kind of get that underway. Because Cody and Kevin Owens are friends. So I can see that happening. I already talked about, so I see Cody versus Randy at SummerSlam. I talked about Nia Jax. Obviously, I want to see her win the world title, the WWE women's title. Like, talk about Liv, talked about Gunther versus Priest. Well, not really, but Gunther's winning that title at SummerSlam. He is. The trajectory of Gunther is exactly what we want it to be. Chad Gable will be winning the Intercontinental Championship, I believe, at SummerSlam with the new Alpha Academy with the Creed brothers, and I keep blanking out on her name, but I think they're obviously going to swap. Mrs. Money in the Bank. Miss Money in the Bank. I'm going on a limb right now. Tiffany Stratton will be the women's Money in the Bank winner. Because she didn't win Queen of the Ring, which I thought would have fit her better because of just think about it. Queen, like, she has that personality. But Tiffany Stratton as Miss Money in the Bank will, I think, may fit a little bit better than Queen of the Ring, because I think with her character, with her having this decline, it's more fitting that she gets this, because now it's like at any given time, I can cash in this briefcase. And I think it would be fitting for her to get that briefcase, because then she could just walk around here and say, when it's time, when it's Tiffy time, I will cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. So I see Tiffany Stratton coming out with the briefcase at Money in the Bank. I don't think it's going to be the typical women's Money in the Bank and then she cashes in that same day. I don't think so. I think you're going to bleed this title reign or this briefcase. Similar to how Priest did it, I can see Tiffany Stratton doing it. For the men's Money in the Bank, betting odds favorite will probably say Jey Uso. That's the betting odds, is Jey Uso. But I think you're going to start to tell the bloodline storyline with them. I don't know. I don't know who I have for men's Money in the Bank. But speaking of the bloodline, Roman Reigns has wrapped up his part of this movie that he shot. So we should be expecting Roman Reigns back real soon. And for everybody that is like, oh my God, the WWE isn't the same without Roman Reigns, I'm one of those people that will say, like, yes, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Y'all will miss Roman when he's gone. And he's gone, and now everybody's like, oh my God, this is not the same. We need Roman. Roman, come back. We want Roman chants echoing go out throughout arenas and stadiums. Nah, y'all were the same ones that was sitting there that hated on Roman and was pissed off that he was the champ. Now y'all want Roman back. Y'all are ungrateful, fickle fans. But I love every last one of y'all because y'all are like me. But it will be nice to see the big dog, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the needle mover, God mode himself. It will be great to see him come back. And tell, like, and continue this epic story. You know, we are really, this bloodline story is going to go down as one of the greatest stories in wrestling history. As we all know, Solo keeps saying he's taking orders from the tribal chief. I don't think it's Roman Reigns. I think that when Roman Reigns comes back, it's going to start, the seeds will be planted as to Solo. you weren't taking orders from me. And I think Paul Heyman is going to play, and I said it before, Paul Heyman is going to play a pivotal role in this story because Paul Heyman may be playing dumb to Solo because he's probably like, I talk to Roman Reigns every day. Like, yes, I lied about that, but I've been talking to Roman Reigns. And you have not. So who exactly are you referring to as the tribal chief? And then we get the final boss. Then we get this epic showdown that's going to happen with Roman Reigns and The Rock. I think that we still will get Cody Rhodes versus The Rock soon. I just hope it's not title for title because y'all know how I feel about that. But speaking of that, if you have not listened to Brian Gewartz on Busted Open, go listen to that interview because he shed a lot of light onto the WrestleMania 39 or WrestleMania 40, 39 and 40 story and what led into all of that. So go back and watch that or listen to it. It's on their YouTube channel and it's on their podcast if you happen to follow the podcast. Other than that, that's all I really have for this week. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with all these stories. Let me know what y'all thought of King and Queen of the Ring. What's your thoughts on Double or Nothing? What do you see happening now that we're in kind of we're on the road to SummerSlam? They did announce that SummerSlam in 2026 starting is going to be a 2-night event. It's going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been hearing that, the big events, like the big four, may go to a 2-night event. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I like WrestleMania as a 2-night event. I'm not really big on SummerSlam being a 2-night event. I damn sure won't be a fan of the Royal Rumble being a 2-night event. But I can see why you would do the Royal Rumble as a 2-night event. Because I think what you want to do is you want to have each Royal Rumble stand out. I can see that. But I'm not a fan if you do Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series as a 2-night event. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. But they did announce that. They did announce SummerSlam 2026 in Minnesota. So let me know what y'all thought of this show. Let me know what you think about what has been happening. And what's your thoughts going into this road to SummerSlam? I appreciate every last one of you guys. Make sure you follow. I had a brain fart because my watch just went off. Make sure you follow us, RCW_podcast, the Ace as well, RCW_Ace. I will be back next week with another episode of Wrestle Talk with a Franchise. Till then, enjoy Double or Nothing. Enjoy this Memorial Day because this will be coming out on Memorial Day. So I hope everybody is enjoying their Memorial Day. I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend. And I'll be back next week. Later.